Wisconsin FCCLA. I am Jenny Marks, and I am the FCCLA advisor and family and consumer sciences teacher at Westby Area High School. I currently am the advisor for the state officer, Genevieve Haugen, who is currently holding the position of public relations, vice president of public relations. And I have been asked to put together a real quick, short little video on virtual classrooms. And I started doing this probably a little over a year ago, actually, when COVID kind of set in. I was looking for some unique interactive ways of presenting lessons or presenting material to students that wasn't just the typical same old of here's your slideshow, here's your worksheet, yay. And so I kind of stumbled upon this virtual classroom idea and how that was kind of put together. And so I watched some videos on YouTube and talked to some people that had already done it, and kind of figured out that, hey, that was a pretty cool way of presenting material. And so I thought that I would put together kind of some things that I learned along the way of creating a digital space for my students, and kind of how I utilize it within my classroom space, and specifically about within FCCLA. First of all, when doing this, I would set aside a lot of time. If you're planning on doing all of your classes and establishing Google Classrooms for all of your classes, or virtual classrooms, I would definitely consider doing it over the summer months when you have a little bit extra time, or over a longer extended break, because it could be kind of a crazy amount of work. Now, the nice thing is that once you get like the base platform established, you can modify and tweak things as you need from that point, but it's kind of the initial establishment of that space that you have to create and set up and then build from there. I will be straight up honest. I created digital spaces for all of my classes along with my FCCLA chapter at the beginning of the year. And those spaces house all of the information that we genuinely use throughout the entire semester or throughout the entire year in the activity. There are some advisors out there that will change and actually use their virtual platform every single lesson that they teach. They'll update, they'll tweak, they'll repost it. That's a lot of work and a lot of prep to it. And so if you want to do something like that, you are more than welcome to, and I'll go into that a little bit further here in a few minutes. Or you can do what I have done, and what I did is I created the space with the general information. So all of like our syllabus is on there, the rules for the labs and for the classrooms are on there, a genuine outline of the class, and then just some fun things. Maybe websites that I utilize quite a bit, like allrecipes.com, bettycrocker.com. I may even post on there some videos that I want them to reflect back upon, like safety videos. And so if there's ever maybe a safety issue within my classroom, I can always say, hey, you need to go back and review that safety video, and I'm going to give you like a 3-point quiz on that in the next class in order for you to get back within the classroom and lab space. Otherwise, they're removed until they can pass the quiz. And so it's kind of up to you as to how you want to establish the platform. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through creating a basic initial platform and what to utilize and what resources are out there. And then through that process, I'm physically going to show you how to create a space. And so that, like, I can talk all day about do this, do that, but sometimes it's fun just to show you how to do it. And since this is a video, you can easily go back and rewind and re-look at different things if you want to change it up just a little bit yourself or practice yourself. And so we are a Google one-to-one school. So all of our students here have Chromebooks. And so we use the Google platform for everything that we do. Even our teacher workstations are Google-based. Like, we have no Microsoft on it whatsoever, which that's a long story, and I feel like we need some Microsoft in our lives too, but that's fine. So today, and the classrooms that I have built and the virtual spaces that I've been built have all been based off of Google. So within the Google Classroom itself or within their apps, which are like the Google Docs, the slideshows, all of that. So the first thing that you're going to do, and I've already done that here, is I have opened up a Google slideshow, very basic, generic. You want a white background. And when you first start off, you want to actually go in and you want to hover over your text box and click that text box, hit backspace to delete it out. Or you can highlight it, right click it, and cut it as well. You want a very clean space that you are going to start to design. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go up to background and we need to click background. Then you need to go to choose image and then click Google image search. And up here you're going to type in floors and walls, or floor and wall background. And you want to type in floor and background so that it actually gives you kind of like a cutoff line as to where your floor is, and then a back wall space as well for this. You'll see on here that there's different layouts and different designs of a classroom space. It's kind of whatever you feel like doing or dabbling in. This here actually gives you like a live space, which is really hard to put like a Bitmoji in or different images in, because a lot of times the images themselves are kind of clip art based. And so you're going to want to pick a space that you want to work with. And so we'll just pick this one for today. And then we're going to click insert. And then from that point, you're going to click done. Now what this did is it put this on like the very, very back side of your space. So you don't ever have to worry about when we start to layer things, that if you click on an image like say a desk and you say put all the way to the back, it's not going to go behind this. This is as far back as we could possibly go into your background space. And it's on this slide, so it's complete in the whole space. So you shouldn't have a white border or anything like that. So this is our background. Now obviously in a classroom space, the next initial thing that you want to do is actually establish some of the larger items in your room. Now there are some people out there that have classroom spaces that have set it up so that you can it's like a kitchen or a lab space. They have cabinets in the back and they have desks and chairs and all sorts of stuff. And they've definitely gone over the top. And there can be a time where there's almost too much going on in a slide or in a Google Classroom as well. And so we need to kind of find that happy medium as to what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So once we do the background, we're going to go up here and we're going to go to insert and we're going to go to image. And now we want to actually search the web. Now over here where it says search for images, for this part for Shirley, you want to put the word transparent in front of, oh, I can't, there we go, whatever you're looking for. So if it's transparent whiteboard, whiteboard, oof. It's going to give you some images of whiteboards because most of us have dry erase boards. Some of us still maybe have chalkboards, so you could do transparent chalkboard in your space if you wanted to as well. But for today, we're just going to click on this guy here and we're going to insert. Now, obviously when it inserted with all of these fun little doodads. And if this isn't what you're looking for, you just have to delete it out and then go back to insert, search the web, and then your images are still here for you to use. And I'm not sure why this drop down bar is still there, but that's okay. I gotta go over here again. There, well, close that out. There you go. So maybe this is a different one that you want to add to that. And so you obviously now have this image here. Now the cool thing is if you grab one of these corners, if you grab the corner, it's going to shrink it all very evenly to the size that you want. If you grab one of these, it's going to make it really like elongated and stretch it. Or if you grab one of the center ones here, it's going to make it very like tall and narrow. So a lot of times if you ever screw up and you don't like this, but yet you like the image, if you hit this little back arrow, it'll take it right back to where it originally started from. And so you're going to want to make your whiteboard whatever size that you would like. And right now, because this is the first kind of image on this, and most of us have our whiteboards kind of centered in the middle of our room. And if you want it more off to the side, it's totally your space. So you can do whatever you want with this space. Now, because we're creating a classroom space here, I'm going to also add desk. We're going to go to a desk. And so you kind of have to decide what style of a desk that you would like to add, or say a table. So we're going to add a desk to our image, and you can pick kind of whatever type of desk you want. You can pick a fancy one, so like we'll just do a fancy one for today. Or you could pick a teacher desk of some sort, but we're going to do some kind of funky monkey desk here. Actually, I think this is more like an ottoman than it is a desk, but that's okay. And maybe we'll move the board over here a little bit. Now keep in mind that you want to kind of do some of this, I don't want to say to scale, but you want to kind of proportion it, like make it sort of make sense. And where this is going to come into play is some of us have created Bitmojis, and that's a whole nother ball game, which I can very easily do a separate video on creating a Bitmoji if you so choose. Now with the Google platform, there is a Bitmoji app that you can add to the Google platform. The only problem is that in order to create and design a Bitmoji, you have to do it on, like most of us have like a cell phone, or you need to do it on a computer of some sort that can access that material. An iPad probably, but I have to do mine on my phone because the website for Bitmoji does not allow you to create or design on that. So you do have to create it. I create mine on my phone. I change the clothing. I do all of that stuff on my phone. But yet when I am logged into my Google Classroom and my Google material, it's up here in my like little icon bar. And so this little guy here is my Bitmoji. And so if I click on my Bitmoji, I can now add my Bitmoji to my classroom space to make it a little bit more like live and interactive. Now, if you want a Bitmoji to sit on a chair, I would put sitting, and then the images that come up will have, some yes will have the word sitting over the top of it, but then you'll have a Bitmoji that's actually like sitting that you can put on a chair. Or you can do pointing, and then you'll have a Bitmoji that points. And so from this, we're going to copy an image, and then we're going to go down here, and we're going to paste our Bitmoji in. And now the deal is that you can make your Bitmoji pretty much like as large or as small as you want to kind of match your space. And you can move your Bitmoji around. There's ones that like lie down. There's hundreds and hundreds of Bitmojis. Some are dressed in costumes. Some, though, you have to be really careful, can be very inappropriate for a classroom space. So I'll use this one as my good example. Today, I'm like, oh, okay, I want a Bitmoji that is pointing. So earlier today, I was looking for one, and this is the Bitmoji. When I said pointing, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. That's kind of me. I'm kind of goofy. And so I like, oh, and when I put it on the slide, it's actually sticking its tongue out. And for me as a teacher, yes, I can be goofy, but I naturally never stick my tongue out. I think it's kind of strange, but that's me. And so I thought that, whoa, okay, that I don't want, so then I can just delete that image out and then go find a different one that's more appropriate for my situation. Now, here at school, excuse me, I have done this, actually, a part of my assistant child care teacher course and my infant and toddler course, where I had my students, we had a little extra time, and to do something fun, I had them create their own early childhood classroom spaces, and it was really neat as to what they came up with. They put bookshelves in, and they put rugs in, and they put little chairs in, and all sorts of stuff to make it look really fun and interactive for early childhood or elementary level students. And so they were able to do Bitmojis. However, on their Chromebooks, they do not have access to Bitmoji, and so they had to create it on their phone. They had to save the image of the Bitmoji that they wanted to on their phone and then email that image to themselves so that they could get it off of their email as an image. And then you just copy and save it and put it in their space, which was kind of a workaround, if you wanted to call it that, but it worked. But we do that because we've had some children and some students here that have made some inappropriate decisions with Bitmojis, and so we had to have it blocked. And so that was kind of our workaround in a way. And it worked fine, and the kids were great with that and had no issues with that as well. So now we're going to go back to this and we're going to search the web now for a transparent. We're going to go chair. And every time I have really kind of done this, I get different images. So like I've created multiple classrooms. This is the first time I've ever seen this style of a table ever come up when I've typed in transparent desk. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But now what I'll do is I'm going to take the chair, and right now it looks like, yes, the chair is sitting on top of the desk. But what I'm concerned about actually are the legs of the chair, that they're all actually on the floor and not on the wall. Because you want to make sure that it's as realistic as possible. And so now this chair is, yes, sitting in front of the desk. If you right click on it, you're going to see this order and rotate. Those are two really important pieces to this. And if you see the order, and it'll say send backwards or send to back. Send backwards means that it's going immediately behind the image that it's currently in front of. If you say send to back, if there's multiple pictures stacked up, it's going to actually send it to like behind all of them. So if there's like say a desk and then there's a plant that kind of overshadows, if you send it to backwards, the chair is going to go even behind the plant. Or if you send it back, it's only going to go between the desk and then the plant. It's going to kind of like wedge in between the two of them. So it's kind of your choice as to what you want. And so for right now, I'm just going to say send to back. And now the chair is behind this lovely table, which if you want to, you can make the chair a little bit larger and scale it more, or you can shrink the table down some so that it kind of balances a little bit. But you can kind of play around with it as you see fit. And on the table, like I've seen some teachers, they'll put like a stack of books here, they'll put a computer here. You can do kind of whatever you want with the table. Some people that are super skilled in this will actually put like their Bitmoji on the chair behind the table. So, you know, if you've got time on your hands, go ahead, do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out to an actual like web page. And I'm going to type in or look for the FCCLA logo. And we're going to go to this. We're going to save, copy image. And we're going to go back to this and we're going to paste this image in. So right now, this looks like it's kind of like nebulously floating in Nowheresville. And so an easy way to make posters on your wall is to take an image and then go over here to the border weights and give it some weight to the border. And now it actually looks like it's a poster hanging on the wall. And you can change the colors of this as well with this little guy with the border color. So you could actually like make the border match the color that's within the circle, or come up with something that's fairly close. Or you may just choose not to do any of that and go with just a straight black. It's kind of your call as to what you would like to do with that image and how you want that poster to appear on your wall. Now you've got this beautiful whiteboard, and the whiteboard is where as a teacher you could put daily announcements here, you could put the daily lesson plan here if you wanted to, you could put links on here as to different worksheets that you want them to work on, whatever it might be. And the cool thing is when we get this all finished and we save it and we publish it, the students then can open the link, and I'll show you how I give my kids access to that. They can open the link, and then they can actually open the different links on this. Now, the only issue is that utilizing this, if you put a worksheet on this page, they're going to be able to open like the Google Doc of the worksheet, but you have to make sure that they make a copy of that and then save that or email it to you or however you want to collect it. That's the only downfall about doing assignments on here. Unless they're like a Google form that collects itself, you will have to figure out and teach them a way of collecting those finalized assignments at the very, very end. Okay? But what I'll do is on my whiteboard is I will put a text box in here, and then I will utilize the text font stuff, and if I want it to actually like look like I wrote something on my whiteboard, I will change the font. On ours, it's called Homemade Apple, is kind of a script. There is the calligraphy. I think there is actually like a script one too. Yeah, Dancing Script. but I kind of like the welcome. And so you can make it larger, you can bold it, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with that. And now it actually looks like you wrote something on the board. I've had some people, like I said, do the text box thing and then link that way. Totally your call. Now, my FCCLA space actually gives the kids access to the links of the 3 major websites that we have and then social media options that we have. And so what I've done is I did like a text box and then I typed in, let's say, Wisconsin FCCLA, and I'll say like website. And I'll show you the example that I did for our class here towards the end, or for my kiddos towards the end. And so above this, I actually put like, I think important links or important resources or something like that to title this so that they know kind of what this is all about. And so then I will go out to the actual like page. I will get the web address and I'll come back here and I will highlight the web address and then link it to that site. Now right now the site, the font is like a turquoise-ish blue anyway on my end. I don't know if it is on your end. You can always, after you have actually like connected the link, you can always change the font color to something else. So if you're all into like purple and you want everything to be purple because that's your school colors, you can color it purple if you want to. But once it's linked, you can change it to whatever color you want. It's always going to be linked to that. I have noticed though, if you are, let's say you're inserting, let's do Facebook logo, and we're going to do this one here. We're going to copy the image and we're going to put this image in here, and I'm just showing you, you can redesign the space. And you can see that there's a great big like white area around the outside of the Facebook, and you don't want that. What you need to do is go back to this image and you want to save image as, and it might take a little bit for it to pop up here. Okay. But you're going to save it in your downloads, and I would just do download 1 for now because this is going to be quick. So whenever I'm trying to remove a background from an image because of putting it into a slideshow or doing it for some other things, one website that I have found super, super handy is remove.bg, and it stands for Remove Backgrounds. And if you click over here, and it's a free thing that is super, super easy to use. You literally click Upload Image, and it'll take you to the image that you want to upload from your computer. You open the image, and after a little bit, it'll come back and it'll say Download, and you click Download, and now it'll download it back to your computer. And if you go back to this document now, and I'm going to leave that to show you the difference here. This is the original image. Now if I go to Insert an Image now, Upload from Computer, I can go to this one that's from Remove BG, and it now has legitly removed the background from this image. Now the only problem is that it removed like all of the white. So even from the F, so now if I move the thingy over here, it literally like puts me in the background of it. So sometimes you have to be a little bit careful with the removing of the backgrounds, but it works like amazingly well when you have to remove any kind of a background from an image. So it's totally your call. Now, going back to this, like let's say I want to link my like Westby FCCLA Facebook page to this. FCCLA Facebook. And I'm going to get the link off of this, so I'm going to copy the link. Now when I go back over to this image and I right click on the image, it's at this point not giving me an option to link from here. But if you go back and you highlight this image and you go to Insert, here is where the link will show up. So then you click Link and you copy paste in your link and apply it, and now our Westby FCCLA Facebook page is now connected to this app or to this image. So if when we are finished publishing this, it'll show up as a published image. So once you've designed your space, the very last step in all of this is to go over to File and go down to Publish to the Web. And then you're going to hit Publish. It's going to ask you if you want to do this section, and you're going to say OK. And then this is the link that you need to actually copy, and then that's the link that you give to your students. And so every time you want to change something on this, because you're publishing it to the web, it'll automatically update and publish. Now, if you want to keep this as your platform and then just add things and take things out of this, you're going to have to keep this slideshow like saved, and then make a copy of this slideshow for all of like your future slides, because it only saves the one slide. So if you want to do like, let's say I want to do this, but then I want to add, what would be a good example? Like, let's say I want to do, like, this is my intro page, and then I do another slide that is for my assignment, or maybe it's the lecture, like the slideshow itself. It'll only save this very first page, but you can put a link to your slideshow onto this page from a different slideshow, okay? So you may have to do different slideshows in order for this to all like fuse together, but it does work. And like I said, you can putz around with this as much as you want. So then, after you publish to the web and you get that saved link, you're then, like I put my stuff out into the Google Classroom. So I have a Google Classroom for just my high school FCCLA. And so what I did is, and this is just my like example to my kids and to show you what happened. Today I put an example of a classroom that I built in here, and I just said something fun I'm creating for a presentation. This is just for fun. And I put it in the announcement thing, and so then it asked me to add a link to it, and so I added a link to my virtual classroom. Now if I click on this link, I'll show you then eventually what the kids see. This is what they'll see. Okay, they don't see all of like the separate slide creation stuff, nothing. They just see this slide. But the cool thing is that everything is live. So if they click, you know, the National FCCLA excuse me, website, which it's supposed to, must not linked it. Okay, if I go to the Westby one, it'll take them right to my Westby FCCLA page. If I want to go to the state one, it'll go to the state one. At least it should. Yep. Okay. And I must have not, in my hurry, I must have not created this, linked that one. But I also do, I have linked it to our social media. And granted, I just did this one really quick, and the high school FCCLA one, I actually had students create it, and they did a really nice job because they put things on there that they felt were like the most important. And so they put on there, like instead of just the National FCCLA page, they put a link to just the STAR event page that gives like a list of what they are. They attach the STAR event quiz to that so that kids can have access to that. They gave access or linked the national programs, so you click on the national programs. I actually have seen some advisors put some stuff out there where they actually put the logo of all of the national programs on their slides, and they link all of the pages to each national program to the image. So it's really kind of how much effort you want to put into that space. Okay, so that's kind of it with a virtual classroom. I am always willing to help anybody or answer any questions that you may have kind of as you go through this if you would like to try it. So feel free to always email me. My email is Jennie, JENNIE .marks, MARX, at Westby, WEST, B as in boy, Y -Norse, NORSE.org. And I wish you all of the luck in the world on this. Kids love it. Kids have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I've done it in my assistant child care and infant and toddler classes. And so sky's the limit. Look at Pinterest, look at Facebook for ideas from other teachers, because that's kind of where I've gotten some different inspirations along the way. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful spring and an end of the school year. Bye, everybody.